Hi, welcome back to the Gambling Chef Kitchen. It's Magic Week, and just like a real witch, I've got my cat joining me. We're going to be making cheese today, and cheese involves two ingredients. It's super simple. So let me get the kitty out of the way here. This is Lego, by the way. The ingredients are milk and lemons. No cats in this recipe. We're going to go over to my stove so we can get started. You can turn this cheese in either ricotta or you can make an Indian style paneer. I think I have another cat coming in, so we better get started right now. I'll see you in a second. Time to make our cheese. I bet most of you never knew you could do this or thought you'd be watching somebody trying to teach you how to do it. This is just a gallon of milk that I am heating in a very heavy bottomed saucepan. And the reason I have my spatula here is the milk will start burning on the bottom if you don't stir it every couple of minutes. So you definitely want a spatula because you want to try to scrape the bottom and just make sure that that's not happening. This pot probably is already going to be a pain to clean because it's kind of impossible to prevent that from happening entirely while you're heating your milk up. But that's really the most important thing to this part of the process. The other most important thing is you cannot walk away once you start heating your milk. And I have my heat on about a medium high. You don't want to go too crazy because, again, that bottom will scorch on you. But the other thing is don't walk away. Do not leave the kitchen. When I was testing this for you guys, I turned my back for 3 seconds because I was doing something else. And guess what? Made a huge mess, boiled all over my stove. So do not do that. And I will see you guys in just a minute. And we're going to keep stirring this until it starts coming to a low boil, and then we are going to add our lemon juice, which will turn it into cheese. I'll see you in a second. Over on the side here, I have a bowl, and on top of the bowl, I have a fine mesh strainer, and on top of the fine mesh strainer, I have some cheesecloth. You could probably do this, honestly, with these strainers are so fine if you don't have cheesecloth, but I'm going to double ensure that I don't get any bigger chunks in there. I think it should be fine either way. So I just want to show that to you. Do you want this prepared before you get too deep into boiling your milk? I will go back to the milk on the stove and you guys will join me in just a second. My milk is still heating. I'm just giving another stir. You will be able to feel the resistance on the bottom of the pan if the milk is starting to brown or stick a little bit. So again, just take your spatula, go around those edges. Do it every couple minutes. Do not leave it too long without this step. It's important. So we only have 2 ingredients to make this, but you do have to take care of them. And I promise if you do it, then you will love the results. All right, I'm going to turn this back on when this is right about to hit the right temperature. Okay, our milk just started boiling. You can see in that corner. I am going to shut the heat off out of an abundance of caution. And now we're going to start adding our lemon juice. This is the juice from 4 lemons. I'm going to start adding this and stirring this. It's going to depend on how acidic the lemons are, as far as how much lemon juice that you need to add. So you can see I'm stirring. And you can see that we are starting to get our cheese, which is exactly what we want. But the liquid left behind should not be, I'm actually going to add all of this. It should be pretty clear. We don't want like chunks and a milky liquid. So that actually looks pretty good. I can see that my liquid is pretty clear. You can see that it's like more yellowy and not milky. And that means that we are coagulating all those beautiful milk particles. I'm just going to give this a stir. And I know it doesn't look tasty at this point, but you got to trust me. All right, I think we're pretty good. I don't see anything that's not coming together at this point. I'm going to move this over to my countertop and we're going to start straining this, and I'll show you how to do that. So the best way to start straining your cheese off is by using a slotted spoon and pulling the curds out and placing them inside your cheesecloth. Look, instant ricotta. It's so awesome. I love doing this. It's really fun. Plus it's sciencey and you can get your kids involved as long as they're careful with the boiling liquids. But it's just really tasty too. And 1 gallon of milk, and you gotta use whole milk. I'm not sure if I emphasized that earlier. 1 gallon of whole milk will yield about 4 cups of ricotta cheese, or a nice packed brick of paneer cheese. So with the paneer, if we're gonna make ricotta, we're just gonna strain it like this in the cheesecloth, and then we're actually gonna stir a little bit of liquid back into it and add some salt. If we're gonna do the paneer, then we actually squeeze the liquid out of it and we weigh it down. I'm gonna show you both ways, so I'll do like half and half. You're gonna get to a point where it's gonna be harder to scoop these solids out of the liquid because there's gonna be like a lot more liquid than solids. And that's the point where we will pick the pot up and start pouring it in. Whoops, I dropped some right there. So I'm almost there. And at that point, you kind of want to move this over to a sink because it's going to be a little bit safer. So I'm going to strain the rest of this over the sink. I'm just going to pick this up with some oven gloves and pour it into here. You might have to dump some of the water because it's not all going to fit in this bowl that I have. And then I'll see you in just a second. So I went over the sink and I dumped the rest of the water, and here is our beautiful ricotta. And I'm going to put about half of this in a bowl so I can show you the way to finish it for both the ricotta and the paneer. I'm just fantasizing about like ravioli and other things. All right, I scooped about half of that into a bowl. To finish up your ricotta, you're gonna add a little bit of salt to this because you do wanna season this. It's unseasoned, it's just milk at this point, milk curds. And you're gonna add some either cream or a little bit of milk. The ricotta at this point has a texture that's a little bit tight. So to really get a cheese that's gonna be easier to work with, you just are gonna stir a little bit of that liquid back into it and break up those chunks. So the way to do that is to break it up, and otherwise it's gonna be the chunks will be thicker. It's not a bad thing, really depends. And I don't have any cream right now. Cream's probably more ideal for this, but you can use milk or cream, either one. I know it's weird, you're like adding liquid back into it, but this is ricotta is very moist, and this is really how you do that. And you can see that it's breaking down into more of a normal bit of a ricotta and is absorbing that liquid too. So, and we seasoned it. You can taste it, make sure it's got enough salt. And now this is basically ready. This is ready for ravioli, for toast. You could add some lemon zest into this, and you could add a little sugar, and you could spread this on toast with some jam. So many things that you can do with this, and it's 2 ingredients, minus the salt and the milk that we just put back in here. But I mean, how much more easy can it get than that? So here's your fresh ricotta. And I'm gonna scoot over to my bowl that has the rest of the cheese in here. So I work with hot stuff a lot, so I'm not scared of hot things, but I recommend that you let this cool off a little bit longer. So my cheese cooled off a little more, and I squeezed it quite thoroughly in the cheesecloth. You can see it's a much more solid lump. It's kind of amazing that these 2 different cheeses come out of the same thing. And then I am gonna press it into this container, into a nice square. You don't want this to totally cool off. It's already getting a little bit more crumbly than I would like it to be able to do this, but you can always heat it up in the microwave if it's not cooperating with you. So I'm gonna press it into this container. And the reason I'm doing that, if you're gonna make your paneer, is so that I can place some paper towel on top, because the goal is really to get all the water out of this. We're gonna press it down even more. And then you're gonna find a container that fits nicely on top of this, and you're gonna press it down even more. We're making some kind of cheese that we can cut into cubes. That's why compressing it is important. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh this down in the refrigerator overnight, and then it will be our paneer that we'll be able to cut into pieces and use. So I'll show that to you along with the ricotta when we taste. Okay, our cheese is done. I've got the paneer on this side. I've got the ricotta over here. I'm going to give the ricotta a quick taste just to make sure it's okay. It's creamy. It's delicious. It's super fresh. I love cheese. I love every kind of cheese, even processed fake cheese. I love all of it. So to be able to make it at home is a real privilege. I hope that you try this and all my recipes. They're all available at thegamblingchef.com, my website. And please be sure to follow and like me on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And I'm also on Instagram. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.